What's your overall assessment of that?
It was a good start. It was an energetic start. Looked pretty much the way we wanted to set the game up, but to St Kilda's credit, they completely turned the game around inside the contest after quarter time, and we were very reactive in the stoppages after that, and they really got on top of us and then outworked us from there. So, yeah, we tried to peg it back in the second half, but again, St Kilda were very clean and very crisp with their movement away from the contest, and I thought that was the most significant difference between the sides.
Higgins and Cunnington basically outstanding today, but probably just not enough contributors.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They were very good, but I thought the St Kilda midfield overall got right on top through weight of numbers, just more guys to go through there, and probably exacerbated for us a little bit losing 4 guys throughout the course of the game for periods of time. Nielsen obviously permanently with the concussion, and then a few others as well meant that we were forced by virtue of numbers to ask a lot of a few guys, and that certainly wore us down. But all things being equal, I don't think that that massively contributed to the margin in the end, because I thought St Kilda, irrespective of that, was still better around the contest and better from the contest.
What have you made of Ben Cunnington's season? He's had some outstanding games like today and probably had some quiet days as well. Has he gone forward as a footballer though this year? Oh yeah, he's definitely a better player. There was a time there that if Ben Cunnington had 3 clearances like he did today, he probably would have maybe doubled his clearance tally in possessions. But 36 possessions, he really knows how to win the ball at ground level. He's not just an elite stoppage player anymore. He's got a lot more strings to his bow, so he's taken a definite step forward.
What about goal? He seemed like a big improvement from him today, Scotty. Is that fair?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought he certainly won his duel and looked a lot more lively, not just around the contest but getting away from it, and got involved in between, and probably could have, if our ball movement hadn't have fallen down a few times, he would have got on the end of a few more as a forward as well. So good step forward for him, and hopefully he's okay. He's got a scratch on the eyeball, which he went off for a fair period of time with, and came back on and to his credit kept playing well, and then I think you all would have seen he landed awkwardly on his knee. So we'll get those things assessed, and hopefully he's okay.
How do you reconcile his year, Scotty? I mean, he was one of the best ruckmen in the competition, if not the best, but and is he just lost some confidence? Is he... How do you explain his sort of season? It's hard to, from outside, to know what to make of it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to talk about everything. I mean, there's clearly he's not recapturing the form that made him an All-Australian, and look, he's had some challenges both on and off the field this year, and that he's dealing with, and we've just got to keep reinforcing what he does really well and try to get him to replicate that, because he's still one of the most athletic ruckman in the competition. He combines that with terrific endurance as well, and even with Prusy hurting his shoulder today, Goldie can still solo ruck for 40-45 minutes at a time. So there's not too many players who can do that. So we're really confident that he'll get back to his best. He needs to keep working at what makes him a really good player and repeating that time after time. And it's not too difficult for a big bloke to lose your confidence a little bit, lose a little bit of self-belief, and then ask yourself, are you as good as you used to be? Well, I'm really confident he can be better than he used to be.
How do you weigh up? I know what the ladder says, you've won 5 games, but overall, do you give your season a bit of a tick in a sense, like with a much younger list profile, being very competitive throughout games? Are you happy with, I know it's only 5 wins, but overall, can you be satisfied with the progression this year, or are you disappointed? It's sort of a hard assessment.
No, I think you've got to almost ask yourself isolated questions. Are you happy with 10 debutants, 12 new players, and are you happy with what they've shown? And that's yes. Am I really happy with the competitiveness that we've shown throughout the year? Yep. Yeah, I think that as a foundation's been really positive. Am I happy with winning 5 games? No way, and no one at North Melbourne ever will be. So, we've said time and time again that we want to win every game we play, and that goes for next week too.
There's obviously going to be a lot of talk surrounding next week's game. Obviously, the loser is going to end up with the wooden spoon. Can you sit here now and tell us how desperate you are to avoid that?
Do I need to say it again and again and again every single week? Yes, we are desperate to win. And good clubs base, and what we are trying to do is we're trying to set a platform for the future, and that doesn't come through one draft pick or another. It comes through setting the standards that you want everyone to adhere to, a level of competitiveness that is infectious throughout the club. And I firmly believe that if you think you can manipulate things to try and get a slightly better player than another, then that will come back to bite you at some point, if not in the short term, definitely in the long term. And, the difference between what is at pick 1 and pick 4, it's going to be a good player. It's going to be a very good player, whether it's anywhere in those early picks. So we value the competitiveness and the values of our football club much higher than 3 differences in the draft.
You talk about being competitive, and you've been damn competitive for a lot of the season. Did it catch up with you today?
Oh, in the second half I thought it did. Yep. That's only just being honest with the evidence that was put before us. It's not an excuse. We refuse to use that, as an excuse. We played Kane Turner in defence today. He's I think he said he might have played there once when he was 15. But it tests our coaches. It tests our system to make sure that these guys can come in and at least try to play the way that we want them to play. But yeah, there's no doubt that in the second half our guys looked tired, couple down. Midfielders had to play big minutes, but there won't be one person at North saying that was the reason we lost.
How are you holding up in terms of it's the first season in which you've had this many losses as a coach? How are you actually holding up personally?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, no, it's the job of a coach. But no, I think that if you were coaching like it was, you had to win every week to get an opportunity to play the next week. Yeah, it'd be bloody hard because you're competitive, you want to win, and you're losing. But every time the short-term frustrations of the roller coaster get to you, I take a step back and look at the platform and the future of this footy club, and it looks really, really positive. Provided we keep going down the path of setting really high standards and demanding everyone adheres to them.
I know coaches hate talking about players who are going to come in next week, that sort of thing. But is there anyone that's a certainty you play next week? Jared Waite or even Majak Dor or something like that that was really close this week?
No, there aren't too many guys who would say are certainties. We've got a few guys who we haven't put out to pasture. We've got, off the top of my head, Mason Wood, Jared Waite, Majak's a little bit different, but Corey Wagner, a whole lot of guys who we're trying to push to make themselves available for selection next week. But none of those guys are certainties. So we'll just have to have a look at what we've got available and pick the best team we can.
With so many guys out of contracts, is that consideration in terms of possibility of farewell games this week, or is that not, you just can't make it?
Oh, no, we don't. No, we won't be looking at those sorts of things. We've set the expectations with our players, and there hasn't been anyone from the leadership group right down to the 45th player on the list who suggested that we should play someone because it potentially could be their last game.
Totally unrelated to this last one. Are you a fan of the pre-finals bye? Like, if you vote yes or no for it, if Gil asks you to vote for it, like, I know this.
I'll say it depends on our circumstances at the time whether I like it or not. If we won 5 in a row going into the finals, finished top 4, no, I hate it. If you've got a few guys who are sore and injured and you finish in the bottom half of the ladder, or bottom half of the 8, sorry, I reckon it's a great idea. I mean, that's the truth, isn't it? I mean, that's what if you're asked the question, if you take a step back and take your coaching hat off, then do we like it? Well, I thought the first week of the finals last year was some of the best footy we've seen in a very long time. So it's very hard to argue that having the best players all available in the first round of finals is a bad thing.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.